Hi everyone, good evening. Yes, sorry about that. So hope you're all doing well today. Many of them are coming and going. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm Sanchana. Hello, and I'm an IELTS trainer. And today I will be doing a webinar and we will be discussing about task one writing. Many times we have diagrams instead of graphs, and how to deal or how to tackle with those is what we'll be looking at today. So throughout the webinar, in case you have any doubts, you can just, drop it in the chat box. And by the end of the session, I will clear your doubts for you. Yes. So let me just share screen. Yes, I hope you can see this. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at task one, writing diagrams. So if you see the screen, this is exactly how your lessons will look like. For example, in your IELTS Advanced or the IELTS Fast Track mode, this will be your lesson, and this is how your lessons will look like. So today we are going to be talking about task one, writing. So for those who are not very familiar with IELTS, let me just give you a small introduction to IELTS. So IELTS basically is an exam that you have to give when you want to travel abroad to study or to work or for migration. Basically, it is other country people wanting to test your language skill, how good you are with their language, how good you are with English. Will you be able to survive in their country is what IELTS is for. So now IELTS has four parts. It tests you on four skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. These are the four skills. And in those four skills, today we are going to be looking at task one, writing. In writing, you have two tasks. Again, in general, for IELTS, you have two categories. One is general IELTS and another one is academic IELTS. So today we are going to be looking at academic IELTS writing task one. So in general, IELTS writing task one is a letter writing, and in academic IELTS writing task one is graphs and charts and pie diagrams and diagrams. So it's like a variety of things that will be given to you, and you have to describe it. That is your writing task one. Now, anybody can answer me, what are the different questions that you generally get in the writing task one? Does anybody know? Does anybody want to answer? Okay, that's fine. So you have a variety of different, question types. It starts from your line graph, bar graph, pie charts, diagrams. There's a lot of things that is generally covered. So today we are going to be looking at the diagram section. Now, what happens in this diagram is that your bar charts, bar graphs, and line graphs and your pie charts are the common questions. Okay, so when it comes to your writing diagrams, it is not very common. You don't very commonly find these things. So many of them don't prepare, or they forget to prepare, or they don't prepare enough. But today we will be looking at what exactly is to be done. So diagram for IELTS task one and academic writing, okay, of the report generation type questions. Okay, this is like a report generation type question, and this deals with a process diagram. Okay, now what is a process diagram? A process diagram is when an entire procedure is given in a diagram. Like, when you were in school, you might have come across diagrams in physics and chemistry, right? Those type of diagrams. So today, in today's webinar, we will be covering four major topics. What is an IELTS diagram? Okay. How to describe a diagram in IELTS, strategies to score high, in IELTS diagram process, and tips of describing diagrams in IELTS writing. Okay. So these are the four categories that we will be covering today. So let's start with what is an IELTS diagram. Okay. So a diagram in IELTS is generally a graph or chart that explains something. Okay. So this explains something by showing how the parts relate to each other. Okay. Now, this is very simple, and that's all basically is an IELTS diagram. Next, we're going to look at how to describe a diagram in IELTS. Okay. So basically describing an IELTS process diagram might, make you all nervous and, scared if you have not practiced enough, but don't worry at all. Okay. It's quite simple with the right amount of practice. Okay. Now, what you have to do is that, you have to first understand the question really well. Okay. We'll come to that. But anyway, while the process diagrams might seem harder, okay, than the bar or the line charts or graphs, these are actually quite simple. And if you avoid being very scared, you can do a beautiful, perfect, and very strong essay on the diagram questions. Because basically you just have to describe the diagram, and describing a diagram is so much easier than describing a chart, a technical, bar graph or a pie chart. And this is why. So this diagrams is a very, 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 very less common, to see in your IELTS exam. So many of them don't prepare for it. Okay. So when many of them don't prepare for it, what happens when they receive it, they get confused and they are not sure how to go about with it. So it is important that you prepare for this as well. Okay. Okay. I would request that all of you mute yourselves, please. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So like I was saying, we are also going to be looking at, how to describe an IELTS diagram, which is very, very important. So describing a diagram of your, IELTS academic writing can seem like a scary task, but all you require is clear understanding of what you're expected to do. Okay. That is all you require. And not only about writing task one, generally in IELTS, if you understand what the examiner is expecting from you, it becomes very, very easy. Okay. So far, does anybody have any doubts? Is there anything that I can clear for anybody before we, move on to the next section? Next, we're going to, learn how to introduce the diagram, and there's going to be a lot of information. So if anybody has anything to clear or anything that you want to find out, just anything at all, any questions, you can also drop them in the chat box. It's not necessary that you have to unmute and speak or anything. Any questions? Okay, looks like we don't really have any questions. So I'll just move on. Okay, now how do you introduce the diagram? So majorly give an overview of all the main points and then do that in detail. Okay, so let's look at some 7-8 tips, not exactly tips, but 7-8 steps in your procedure. Okay, so your step 1, read the title of the diagram and write about it. Okay, which is your introduction of the essay. Do not think that avoiding that will help you score better. It will help you in time management. No, please, please read the diagram and then write about it in your introduction. Yes. 1 second. Yes. Okay. Let me just share screen once again. Okay. Yes. So that was your step 1. Now, step 2, what you're supposed to do is describe the diagram in detail, the main body of the essay. Okay. How much you're able to fill in examples, everything, just put them properly. Next, include sequencing words, okay, to your text and connect your descriptive sentences for better flow. So that, your essay sounds coherent. Step 4, include passive, passive voice, passive form, so that, you don't use a lot of I and B and ha, all of that. So just try using passive form. Avoid, reducing your or paraphrasing all of it. Just do little of it. Don't do too much. Okay. Include a lot of clauses and conjunctions so that it looks as if your essay is very well structured. Okay. Next, write a clear summary of the diagram. Okay. Not just one small paragraph, but a clear summary of the diagram. And at the end, please check your work for errors. That is very, very important. Many people just write the essay and then go on to the next thing. Don't do that. Check your work for errors. Okay. Now, while you're doing all of this, it is very easy for you all to get carried away and forget that you have only 20 minutes to do this. You have to complete whatever you're doing in 20 minutes. And that is very, very important. Okay. So now, this is something that many people may not discuss with you, but does your diagram or does your description of your diagram have enough grammar and vocabulary? Grammar and vocabulary is obviously very important. And does your essay have enough of it? Check if your essay includes, proper sentence structures, range of appropriate vocabulary, and whether it is following the right sentence structure. Okay. Next, carefully analyze the given question. Okay. Carefully analyze it, summarize all the key features, and keep it impersonal. Very, very important. Do not make this essay personal. It is an essay about facts. Okay. And try avoiding sentences like I can see or we can see. This all makes it personal. Okay. I think it's an interesting feature. Nobody asked for your opinion. Instead, try to use impersonal pronouns and, structures such as passive voice. Okay. It can be seen that. Okay. Try using sentences that it was mentioned that it was said that. Try using sentences like this. And make sure what you write is true. Okay. According to the given data. Please check your facts before you write a sentence. Everything in your task 1 essay is a fact. Again, I repeat, and I'm repeating this again because it is very important. Do not give your opinion. Okay. And find the right vocabulary. Again, that is also important. Now, this is something that you must remember. If your diagram or if your description has these following requirements, I mean, you always have to check if your answer, if your description meets the requirements that is asked for in your question. So is your word limit right? How many words? Can anybody answer me? Your task 1 essay, how many words should it have? Minimum? Anybody? Does nobody know or is everybody shy? You can type it in the chat box. Okay, I have quite a shy audience today. So you have to do 150 words. Okay, so check if there are only 150 words. I mean, there are at least 150 words in your essay. And do not do it as one paragraph, do it as separate paragraphs. Okay, see if you've described the graph enough and focus on the important trends or the changes. Okay, now just a few more things and then we can, probably jump on to the next thing. A few last minute tips so that you can remember your writing task 1 diagram. Remember to do it better. Read and understand the given question. Okay. Identify the key information and note them. Paraphrasing the given information, do that. Use numeric data, very important. Explain the details given in the diagram. Okay. All of the details. Keep a count on your word count so that you get 150 and more words. Maintain an eye on the time. Please, time management is very important. Use grammar and vocabulary like I mentioned. Use transition words, okay, to maintain the continuity, and do not give your opinion. Again, I'm repeating, do not give your opinion. So these are few things that I wanted you to remember for your task 1, writing. So now moving on to the Red Fox education part of it. This is how your lesson will look like I mentioned. So you will have slides like these and you will have diagrams, you'll have assignments and questions. Okay. And with everything, you will also get this pre-recorded video from British Tutor.
Welcome to our second lesson 5 video, and this one has a detailed analysis of our sample answer to the frog question.
So this is how you'll have pre-recorded videos from British tutors continuously, and then you will also have homework, like you can see, like I'm pointing out. You will have regular homework and assignments. Okay, so it'll help you really prepare well for your exam, and you will really feel confident by the end of your course is over. So okay, so now what I would like to explain to you after this session is, I will explain this and then you can all ask your doubts. So Red Fox Education has 3 different IELTS courses. Okay, so in these 3 courses you can find what all can you find? Comprehensive, Catapult, and Fast Track. Now these courses help you according to your need, and how to find out what is your requirement. You can take a pre-assessment with Red Fox Education, or you can also undergo one-on-one counseling with a tutor or with an IELTS expert. So you can do all of this and then find out which course is most suitable for you. All of our courses are designed by British tutors, and they are really, the quality is there in the in international standards, so you can trust it really. And we have, like I mentioned, a lot of worksheets, assignments. You can have you will have access to the IELTS podcasts, and you will also get 1 mock session with a British tutor, and you will have practice tests. Okay, regular practice tests, the full set of practice tests. These are a lot of benefits that you get. And so does anybody have any questions or anything that you would like to ask me? You can either raise your hand or you can just drop it in the chat box. And like I've put in the chat box, if you can see, that is the link to our mobile app. That is the link to our website or our Instagram and Facebook page. You can download the mobile app and you can study directly from the mobile app, or you can also do it on the website. Does anybody have any questions regarding Red Fox Education writing task 1 or any IELTS question? No questions for me? Yes, I can see somebody raise their hand. Yes, go ahead. Please ask me your question. Or please just type it in the chat box. Yes, go ahead. Meanwhile, anybody else has anything else to say? Anything that you would want me to answer? Or do you have suggestions, topic suggestions for the next webinar? Anything? Okay. Okay, we have had quite, a quiet audience today. That's fine. If there's any doubts, you can, just give a call to Red Fox Education. The number is in the chat box. You can give a call. You can ask for me if you want to talk to me. My name is Sanchana. I'm the tutor, IELTS tutor. You can talk to me, or you can even talk to the, concerned person, whatever your requirement is. That can also be done. So you can also send us a message on WhatsApp. If there's anything, do get in touch with us. Thank you. I hope you had a good time with the webinar. I hope you learned something. I had a great time. Thank you. Bye-bye.